Mrs. Valancourt.
What exactly is the Office of Civil Rights change that took place? What document or what date? When was this done?
I received it about a month ago.
Okay. From the Office of Civil Rights?
I just got it in my email. Everything that's highlighted is what the Office of Civil Rights did. It just came to the policy office with all those changes.
We have been working, as Ms. DeLacy mentioned earlier, this is a case that was several years ago, and we have been working with the Office of Civil Rights for the last couple of years on not just changes to policy, but also on some other training for administrators, et cetera. So we have been working with them for a while with legal counsel and the Equity Assurance Office.
Okay, so this isn't something that just happened. This has been going on for years.
The policy changes are the just happened. Those were just approved not too long ago. But we have been working with them for several years, yes.
The policy changes have just
the recommendations that are coming to you now, we just got those recently approved by the Office of Civil Rights.
Okay.
But the case itself has gone back for a couple of years.
And where would the document where they approved changes be located?
They probably with the attorney that we have been working with. I mean, it's all been going through our attorney and their attorneys.
Okay. Well, here's the part I don't quite get, why we had to hurry up and so that we can't have a public hearing that because it has to be in effect by July 1st, but we know this was on the horizon for...
That was also a mandate by the Office of Civil Rights that we have it approved by July 1st.
Yeah, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and if I might add, that was part of the agreement that we would make these changes. They actually wanted them much earlier than July 1st. But at this point, we convinced them that our policy cycle is July 1st is our normal policy cycle.
And this communication with the Office of Civil Rights was just in the last month or so?
Again, we've been working with them for several years.
You reached settlement.
Years.
You reached the settlement.
Yes,
the settlement you reached, when was that? That was just in the last...
I would have to look back on the date. I don't know if if Rochelle has that information. She might.
This came to the policy.
Well, as long as you're here, we may as well get you up here.
As I understand the documents, the original issue arose in 2012. You then entered into a resolution agreement in 2013. And the way it works with the Office for Civil Rights, it sort of reminds me of what we used to call the voluntary state curriculum, which was not really voluntary, if you recall. But they mandated certain changes. And when you are working with that office, you go back and forth. You come up with a proposal, they look at it. Several months later, they get back to you. Your counsel looked at it. You went back and forth, and now you came up with a policy that was approved by OCR, as they're better known, and you are now required to implement it effective July 1.
And when was this agreement reached?
The agreement was reached, I believe, in 2013.
So the agreement that were mandated...
It's an agreement to change the policy, and then you engage in the discussion with OCR about what that change is going to look like.
And when did they let us know what the change...
Just recently.
And just recently, as in a month ago?
I don't know exactly the month, no.
2 weeks.
I wasn't involved in that. I just know that after I work with OCR in many counties, and this is the way it works with them, they... You come up with an agreement, and then you have discourse with them regarding what that final document will look like. And the changes that are being required here, again, it's like the voluntary state curriculum. They're required, even though it's seemingly voluntary, but they have to be implemented immediately. And these changes that are before you are rather innocuous. but they are required by OCR. You have no choice.
My question is, how long have we known that we had to do these mandated changes and what the changes were going to be?
Again, you entered into an agreement in 2013 to make certain changes, but then the exact language of those changes is worked out in communications between council and OCR over a long period of time.
And at some point, there was final language agreed to, or that
That's correct.
And when was that?
Ms. Mascara, do you want to share something?
Yes, I'm looking through some of the paperwork that I had, and June 16th was one of the last ones, and I think, I don't have it with me, but I believe the final report was due last Friday.
You mean May.
Excuse me, May.
We're June 11th
Sorry,
right now.
but we just submitted a final monitoring report, which would show where we are. I think it was about a week ago, and I can certainly get those dates.
So we got the final, the mandated language on May 11th.
In May. I don't know that May, yeah.
Okay. Well, I still think that May 11th, that would have been enough time to schedule a public hearing in the normal course of things. And whether it's mandated or required, we have an obligation to our public to employ our policies that say we will have public hearings on changes to policies. It doesn't say, but not when they're mandated. And if we can make the approval of this tonight and it goes into effect July 1st, I don't see that there would be a problem in making a public hearing on the 25th. I mean, you could hardly say that there's not enough notice because it's obviously an unusual circumstance. So I move that we have a public hearing on these policy changes.
Well, you can certainly review it after the fact, again, but you won't be able to change it. The Office for Civil Rights is requiring this. You do not have a choice. Period.
Exactly.
And I move that we have a public hearing on the 25th on these policy changes. So I would need a second.
Second.
We'll vote.
Motion by Mrs. Valancourt, a second by Dr. Altwerger to have a public hearing on this. Ms. Lacey?
Yes, I did have something to add. At the board chair meeting with where I think Mrs. O'Connor and Dr. Siddiqui and the last one, I believe it was, we were told about this. Now, that must have been about 2 weeks ago. The policy committee received this yesterday, and we read it. So, I don't want to be seen as the gatekeeper, but as chair of the policy committee, we had a lengthy discussion about it. We talked about the fact that this is something that we had to do. It was a mandate, and I think, the process of, and in fact, we had a discussion about how policy works, and I think that with the policy, because this is a mandate, it has to be, we have no choice. We have to pass this so that it can be implemented by July 1st. We understand as the policy committee and that if this is going to be coming up, this policy for review. But the process for policies is not to have something that is been mandated by the Office of Civil Rights up for discussion. The process is when we're going to change a policy, that's when we have the hearings for the public. This is not something that we're hiding from the public. This is something that has been mandated by the Office of Civil Rights to Howard County Public Schools in order for us to be in compliance.
Right. I think you can make the analogy to a court decision. You can have a court decision that comes down which would require you to do something without having a hearing on it. And here what you have is an agreement with the Office of Civil Rights that you will comply with the law, and these are the changes that have to be made to comply with the law. You have no choice.
All right, Mrs. O'Connor.
I think I would view it as simply an announcement, a public announcement.
Yeah, a public hearing at this point would be of no value. I'm going to call the question. I have a motion by Mrs. Valencourt, second by Dr. Altwerger. All in favor?
Yes.
Oh, no, we have to go through the...
Yeah.
Sorry, Mrs. Hanks.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Ms. Giles?
No.
Ms. Delaney?
No.
Dr. Siddiqui?
No.
Mr. Michaelis?
No.
Dr. Altwerger?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
No.
Ms. O'Connor?
No.
2-5.
Motion fails
I
2-5.
think, didn't Patrick get to, Patrick voted?
Voted.
2-6. 2-6. Yeah. So I'll move that we approve the language as required by the agreement with the Office of Civil Rights, and that the, as noted, the policy will go on the agenda for review in a full review next year.
Second.
A motion by Mrs. Giles, second by Mr. Michaelis. Mrs. Hanks?
Ms. Valencourt?
No.
Giles?
Yes.
Ms. Delaney?
Yes.
Dr. Siddiqui?
Yes.
Mr. Michaelis?
Yes.
Dr. Altwerger?
No. Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
6-2.
Motion passes 6-2. Thank you, Mrs. Eisenberg.
You're welcome.